Was Norm still involved with that in any form or fashion?
Let's see, what year did he pass away? Do you remember?
It was.
I think it was before we started this.
I think it might have been before. I think it was before. You guys started in 90? And when did you start? In 2010. Yeah, I think it was after his pass. The reason I ask is because I don't know whether he initiated, but when we lived in Istanbul together, it's not the same distance. But I told you this. He was big on what was called the Bosporus swim. We would swim from the Asian side over to the European side. So all of his kids and him, they would organize that from the embassy, and we had also about 50 different people swimming across. So it's funny how
you guys would swim from Asia to Europe.
Yeah. But of course, it's not the same distance. But still, I think that's an amazing story. So if anybody who's interested in sponsoring a swimmer or being a swimmer themselves, we'll put the link on there. Right? You guys have a website for it. When's the deadline for registering?
Well, we've passed it for the next swim.
There's always another year
in August.
Yeah.
And it's Tampa Bay Frogman swim. Let's see. Yeah, TampaBayFrogman.com.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay
Frogman. We'll definitely put that in on the screen and a link on the bottom so people have that.
Yeah. But just incredible event.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. That's great. One last thing that's also kind of a staple of our podcast is, and I think you have a short list of ones that you would recommend. I'm still a big fan of reading. I don't always get around to it as much as possible. And there's also Audible books. Are there any books out there that you say would be good for anybody who wants to know, hey, what do I need to know about leadership or about management that a SEAL could tell me? Are there particular books that you would recommend? I've got the list.
I don't know
in case
if these
you don't
are
have
so
them
much
off the top of your head.
Well, I don't know if there's so much leadership and management, but I really enjoyed Startup Nation. I think it's called Startup Nation, the story of Israel's economic miracle. And it talks about the value of startups.
Awesome.
And that was, as I was transitioning out of the military, I was going down this big, I was in the third interview with Amazon, and I was looking at executive recruiting for Amazon. And the other thing I was looking at was Katsu, which is an established company in Japan, but it's a startup. It was a startup in 2017 in America. So that book, one of the things I really liked about it is when you're thinking about a startup approach, when you go into a small organization, right out of the gate, you're now one of the senior leaders in the organization.
Yeah, I often say I once managed a startup company actually in Miami. It's a pity that we didn't meet when I was in Miami, but I was managing a startup company there, and you know how you have this business card, is this CEO or CTO or CIO and whatever EIO. McDonald had a farm. I used to always laugh because people would ask me what I was responsible for. I said I was responsible for cleaning the head. I was responsible for finance. I was responsible for strategy. I was responsible for getting lunch for the team. I was responsible for pretty much everything and anything. So I think it's a great recommendation because startup is such a wonderful example of small agile project thinking. Also, there's a lot of spec op kind of mentality in there. You know, this team element and creating a spirit that carries you over the hardship is definitely a thing.